Gross Law Firm. My name is Yarden Harel-Cohen, and I'm the Business Development Coordinator of the high-tech practice in our firm. This demo day is brought to you by Gross Law Firm and the Zell Entrepreneurship Program of the IDC Herzliya. Today, we will present to you 5 Israeli startups with founders that have been mentored and graduated from the Zell Entrepreneurship Program. I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us today, and I hope you will be inspired by the pitches you're about to see. I want to invite Dr. Eyal Shenav, Head of High-Tech and Venture Capital Practice in our firm, and Liat Aronson, the Executive Director of the Zell Program, to say a few words before we start. Eyal.
Thank you, Yarden. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining us. This is the second demo day we're hosting with the Zell program or ZEP Fund, and I'm still excited, just like the first one. I mentioned last time that I've been teaching in Zell since it started. I thought it was 15 years ago, but Liat corrected it was 20 years ago. So I've been teaching Zell for the program for the last 20 years. It's a tremendous program. And I think the alumni are all very good and all great. And thank you, Yarden and Kochavit, our marketing director, for setting this up. And I hope everybody enjoys it. And Liat, the floor is yours, and then we let the companies present, obviously.
I'm sure you're not here to hear me speak, and I can't see all of you, but I know that definitely know a lot of names. So thank you so much for joining. Just to clarify that beyond the Zell program hosting this is also part of the ZEP Fund, which is thanks to Sam's continued and extended generous donation, gives seed bridge funding for startups that come out of the program right after the program and alumni ventures. So what you're seeing today are companies that have had $50,000 of funding from the ZEP Fund, and we're always looking for syndication. So and working on a kind of a project to try to build that. So definitely reach out if that's interesting. And I think without further ado, and just again, thank you to Yarden and Kochavit, and on our end, Nofar and Dana for making this happen, and Tali. But please, excited to see this batch.
Thank you, Liat, and thank you, Eyal. Okay, I think we're ready to start. I will explain shortly again how this demo day is going to work. So each panelist will pitch for 5 to 6 minutes and then answer your questions. I invite you to send your questions in the chat or in the Q&A box. It's at the bottom of the screen. Or if it's a complicated one, so let us know in the chat, and then we'll open your microphone to ask it personally. I want to invite all our panelists to open their cameras so I can present you to the audience. Let's see, they're joining us. Yeah, I see them. Okay, so our amazing panelists that are going to pitch for us today are Harel Meshulam, co-founder and CEO at Firmus, Litan Yahav, co-founder and CEO at Vizer, David Robach, co-founder and CEO at Balena, Ben Engel Kaysan, founder and CEO at Stay Labs, and Hagar Valiano Rips, co-founder and CEO at Lambdigo. Thank you guys for joining us. And now we can just start with our first pitch. Harel, I welcome you, and you can share your screen and start.
Thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Harel, co-founder and CEO of Firmus, and we help construction companies learn from previous mistakes and detect design errors before construction starts. Throughout the sector and around the world, construction design is an imperfect process with a variety of inherent uncertainties. These uncertainties lead to high contingency costs and low profit margins. Firmus will apply AI to remove the key risk factor, design errors, to change construction into a predictable process. Every construction project is divided into 4 phases: design, construction, inspection, and operation. As a construction project progresses, the cost of fixing every error increases significantly over time. So an error that it is discovered during the design stage and costs $10 to fix will cost $100 to fix during construction, $1,000 during inspection, and $100,000 to fix during operation. Today, too many of these errors are discovered here during the construction and the inspection stages. And this results in 50% reduction in profit margin of the average construction project. Let's see an example. As you can see here in the picture, the access hatch can't be opened due to the clash with the carpentry. In order to fix it during the construction stage, the general contractor must pay for more employees and pay for additional materials to fix this mistake. On the contrary, fixing this error during the design stage doesn't cost anything and can be resolved in 30 minutes during a weekly coordination meeting. The main reason for why this problem has happened is that today the construction design review is completed manually and based on the individual experience of the reviewer that needs to go pipe by pipe, door by door, and window by window a week before the construction team needs to build a specific area in the projects. Firms automatically scan 3D design and provide real-time alerts on potential mistakes and errors based on historical data. We learn mistakes from textual reports that produced on previous projects. Then we are generating a growing lessons learned database. And then we are connecting between the lessons learned database that we learned from previous projects to the 3D model of the current project and are able to provide the end users with a weekly report of the most critical design errors that are relevant to the current stage of the construction projects. We are able to provide upfront ROI demonstration. A few weeks ago, with no any preparation during a Zoom call, we found 21 errors on Cambridge University's project in the UK for Bouygues, the 7th largest construction companies in the world, and we immediately converted them into paid pilots. We charge our customer an annual fee of $60,000 per project. And construction companies within our target market, companies that we are working with today, build around 20 projects per year. So if we expand only the projects with the companies that we're working on today, we can reach to $1.2 million of annual revenue from only one company. There are more than 20,000 projects that start builds every year in the US market, which lead us to $1.4 billion market size only in the US and to more than $12 billion market size globally. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw an increase in the demand for construction technology that help builders to build faster and to work remotely. With our ability to provide upfront ROI demonstration over a Zoom call, in October, we signed 4 paid pilots with our design partners, 2 of them among the top 10 construction companies in the world, Skanska and Bouygues. Our team has vast experience in construction, sales, and deep technology. Shira Beck-Assis, our CTO, with over 9 years of experience in data science from the elite A200 units and the Prime Minister's office. Ilan Reiner, our head of construction and building information modeling, with over 2 decades of experience in the construction industry, including 15 years of experience from Southern California as a senior architect. And myself with over 7 years of experience in sales and management, including being head of sales and business development in an automotive Israeli startup called Engie. Your laptops and phones are manufactured using an ultra-precise streamlined design that guarantees a predictable, precise production process. No mistakes and no waste. As deep technology is embedded more and more into the roads we are driving on and the cities we are living, buildings will only be made faster and cheaper if we transform construction design into that same kind of predictable process. And Firmus is here to create that future. Thank you.
You're on mute. But Ariel, a quick question for you from my side. How much have you raised to date and what are you looking for?
We raised until now a pre-seed of $658,000. And additional, we received a grant of $550,000 from the Israeli Innovation Authority. And we are now raising a seed round of $2.5 million.
Great, thank you,
And
Ariel.
what has been your revenue? What was your revenue in 2020 and your projection for 2021?
So until now, we did paid pilot with our design partners. Until now, did revenue of $20,000 from the paid POCs and paid pilots. And we are preparing to be in a year from the seed round in a little bit more than $1 million ARR, working with 30 projects around the US market.
Thank you, very impressive.
Ariel, I see there's a question in the chat. Ram is asking if you can maybe give an example or elaborate, because I remember you mentioned it regarding what is exactly a mistake, as you call it, in construction. So I remember you had a slide about it. Maybe you can elaborate.
Yeah, so there are a lot of mistakes. It can be small mistakes that and so now, and big mistakes that actually the construction can continue. For example, if there are a lot of systems behind the ceilings and there are no enough space for the entire system to work together, and then the project team need to change the height of the ceiling, and then it's very big problematic because they need to change the contract. I can go back to the and share my screen to show the example because I show it also in the presentation. Just a second. So as you can see here, this is an access hatch, and the goal of this access hatch is to enable to make a maintenance for the system that below the ceiling, above the ceiling. And the designers designed these elements below the access hatch so they can't open and there is no access for future maintenance. So this is an example of small design errors. It can cost them between $2,000 up to $100. It depends again on what stage in the project the construction team discovered.
Thank you, Ariel. So if we don't have any more questions, we can go over and invite Litan from Pfizer.
Hey everyone, yeah, I'll share my screen. All right, cool. So everyone, I'm super excited to be here. I'm Litan from Pfizer. I haven't presented a startup since my last one actually, so I'm super excited. So dive into details about what we do at who we are. So basically, Tomer, who's also here in the audience, and myself and Guy Gamza, we're the founders of Pfizer. Tomer and I were together in Zell about 10 years ago, founded a company called Segoma, which we sold 5 years ago, and basically brought us to what we're working on now, because since we sold our last company, we've been experiencing firsthand sort of dealing with money, managing money, understanding what to do with money, and all the headache involved. And that's basically what brought us to where we are today. And just like from high level, we're working on a direct-to-consumer financial startup, fintech, personal finance to be more precise, oriented towards the US market. We're pre-product, still like really initial, really early stage. And we're basically trying to solve the problem of financial headaches, more specifically for people like us. So Tomer and I, we made money. We didn't make tens of millions of dollars, but we made enough sort of to do things with it. So we're sort of focused on people like us, or more specifically accredited investors in the States, people that have money, let's say from 500,000 up to 5 million in investable assets. They've started to do things with their money, and they just have a headache of understanding where their money is, how it's performing, preparation for tax season. It's just a huge, huge headache. And it's a headache that, like, when you look at numbers, you can call it wealth management, financial advisory, whatever, but it's a $12 trillion industry that's basically served by 300,000 human financial advisors, wealth managers, family offices, or whatnot. All this sort of the fintechs, the digital platforms, none of them give service to this market. And that's sort of what we're focused on, to sort of get a chunk into that by starting with organizing these people's financial lives, just like understanding where their stuff is and leading them to full financial visibility. Now, I'm diving into detail here for a second, but like, this is like holistically understanding where my stuff is, where my money is holistically, not just like stocks, bonds, but like cash, real estate, private equity, startups, everything in one place, and getting a holistic overview of that. And then building on top of that. So we're starting from the bottom of offering users a financial dashboard of visibility of all their financials. I've already said that a few times, but like just aggregating all their financial information. If it's from APIs, which are open from all the financial institutions, which has basically become a commodity in the States. And then on top of that, adding documents, financial documents, just like throwing all your financial information into our platform, and we'll convert them into data and insights. And obviously also giving it the ability to add stuff manually, but more robustly and oriented towards accredited investors, people that tend to have more alternative investments than people with lower investable assets. And that's just like a big pain, and we all result to spreadsheets, which doesn't make any sense anymore. So once we give value on that aspect and give full visibility on where my money is and how it's performing, how it is performing compared to how it was planned, all the documents in one place and all that stuff, we then add another layer of sort of crowdsourced benchmarking. So if I know what users have and how their asset allocation looks and which financial products they actually use to invest with and what the returns are and what they expected the returns to be, I can then compare and give users sort of full transparency to other similar advisors, we call it. Similar people, same demographics, net worth and all that, and showing like, what's my asset allocation compared to someone like me? What type of returns are people like me seeing? How do their, in each slices in their allocation, which financial products do they use? And just like to complete transparency, sharing that data so people can make better financial decisions. And then the third layer is actually the advice part. So once we have sort of, we know where your stuff is, we compare it to people like you, we can then give you advice. Some of it is based on sort of like algorithms, which are crowdsourced, and others are based on sort of like professional advice. So we're working with some financial advisors in the States that are sort of working with us to build that algorithm and also ongoing help these users make better financial decisions. So where we're at is basically we closed a pre-seed with Guy Gamzo and a bunch of other really powerful angel investors of 1.5 million, and also obviously from the Zelle Fund. And we've begun development of our MVP beta, which we plan to launch somewhere at the end of March, and sort of closing our founding team members to sort of bring us to that place with behavioral economists and really powerful developers and UX, because the product here is key. And that's basically where we're at. And that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
I have a question, Itan. I would like to ask, how did you guys feel the effect of COVID-19 on your target market? Because I know it affected the financial situation of a lot of people, so.
Yeah, it's a great question. So first off, a lot of people are sitting on cash and they're looking like what people like them are doing with their money. So we're in a bunch of different like forums, financial forums, real estate forums, investor forums, like financial independence forums, like a bunch of stuff and places where people are like really interested to see what they're doing with their money. On top of that, it's like one of those times where people, like when you're at home and you're organizing your closets, and a lot of people are also using this time to organize their finances. and sort of get better transparency and visibility on what their situation is and how COVID will affect them. Now, obviously, we're targeting people that already have money. So it's not like affecting if they'll finish the month, but it is more affecting, like, first, how they can take advantage of the situation, and second, how it'll affect them long term if they continue to do what they do today. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. I see we have a few more questions in the Q&A. So the first question is, how much are you raising now? What is your...
So at the moment, we're not raising money. We wanted, basically, the idea to come here was sort of to meet and get it and just like get as much feedback as possible, start connecting with people that might invest with us down the road. The idea for us is we raise enough money for about a year and a half of runway. The idea is to reach product market fit by the end of next year and then raise a larger seed round or A round, depending how you want to categorize it. So the idea right now is we're not raising money at the moment, just looking for really, really powerful connections. So yeah, Vise. Yeah, so I think we encountered Vise. I don't, top of my head, don't exactly remember what they're doing, but we haven't found anyone that's digital first, meaning there are some startups out there. I'm not sure if Vise is one of them because we have this huge sort of like spreadsheet with the analysis of all the competitive landscape, and whoever is interested, I'm willing to share it afterward. But all the sort of startups that try to target this market, they look at it from a human first approach. So they're going to go and they're going to connect you with financial advisors that match you, and then give that financial advisor the backbone of digital software to help them give you better service. And that's not what we're looking at. We're looking digital first. So it's something really, really extreme needs to happen for you to have to talk to a financial advisor through us, because we believe you can give almost everything through digital online software.
Thank you for that. I see we have a few more questions in the chat. So maybe if you can elaborate about the competitors.
Yeah, all right. So I didn't say there aren't any competitors. There are a bunch of competitors. Obviously, it's when you think about sort of personal finance, and almost everyone we spoke to in the VC industry the past year, it seems like a red ocean. Every other startup is building a personal finance solution. The thing is, the vast majority are looking at the lower end of the market, sort of people, not accredited investors, people with less money, which have problems on their own. No, the main competitors that we have are sort of, when you look at the basics, so obviously they're the robo-advisors, there's Betterment and Wealthfront, which are very focused on a part of the holistic overview, which is the stock and bonds, 401ks, and like all that stuff. And then the other side is like the more human first competitors, which there are these really cool digital platforms, but even in order to sign up, you need to talk with a human advisor, and they're going to build you a financial plan. And we just believe once there's a human involved, there's an inherent conflict of interest, because that human will always want you to feel you need him to make a financial decision. And no, I don't want you. I just need that place, throw all my information in, just give me visibility and the insights, which are totally unbiased. So we don't have any, there aren't any companies that are trying to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. The business model is basically a SaaS model. So we, as opposed, again, to that conflict of interest, many financial advisors, wealth managers, the most common model is an AUM-based fee. And that incentivizes them to sort of convince their clients to give them more money to be under management, because that's how they make more money. And we've spoken to endless US accredited investors that have this issue. Am I done with time?
Few seconds.
So anyway, the business model is just a flat fee, annual management fee. You can call it subscription management, but we're talking about $900 a year, flat fee for just using the platform and being that go-to where you just throw all your finances into and it's on top of it. So that's what.
Thank you, Litan.
Okay. Thank you. Good to see you again, and good luck.
Thanks.
Let's welcome David from Balena.
Hi, everyone. So hi, everyone. My name is David Rubak. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Balena. And Balena is the first circular fashion brand. The idea behind Balena came to me during my studies. Around the 2018, when all the world talks about blockchain, in the fashion department, there was a new concern. The fashion industry will become the second most polluting industry in the world. With that come a new buzzword called sustainability. But from my previous experience, I already knew that sustainability is not even a legal term, and there is not any KPIs to measure it. I knew that the only way to solve this crisis would be to move the fashion industry from a linear economy to circular economy. It's meant to implement circular practices that we can measure and we can certify. The two things that obtain the industry to move from linear to circular are the above. First is the material that we are using. So 60% of all the clothes that you are wearing right now are made out of polluting plastics. The second is the way we consume the fashion. So we buy fashion, we think we donate them, but then in the end, they stay in the ground for hundreds of years. No one is taken responsible for the end use of our fashion products. So the idea behind Balena is to be a circular fashion brand that in one hand will develop innovative product based on a new era of materials and will invent business model that will know to support it. In March 20, during the ZEL Year program, we collaborated with Dr. Yanir Shaked, and we succeed to develop the Biosphere, our own unique composition material that for the first time bring compostable material to the fashion industry. The second novelty is that during the process of creating the Biosphere, we are able to implement natural ingredients such as algae, you can see in the right, without breaking the composition of the materials. This day, we are extend the variety of Biosphere. You see, we use a lot of different organic and material from Earth. And the core thing is the compostability. So thanks to our unique Biosphere, any product that is made with this material will be fully biodegradable after 100 days from the end of the use. After having the proof of concept of the Biosphere, we immediately went to search what will be the first product to launch with. So we looked on the business opportunity, and we saw that the sandals market and the flip-flops are one of the most growing trend in the fashion industry. Aligned with the business opportunity, unfortunately, coming the environmental impact. So plastic sandals and flip-flop are one of the most polluting products in the fashion industry. Then it was quite clear. The first product we will be launched with will be Biosphere sandals. And I have those wearable prototype with me. Imagine sandals that have the same look and feel as your plastic one, but for the first time, instead of throwing into the bin, it will become compost without leaving any waste. These days, we are manufacturing our pilot collection with those amazing 3 Biospheres, hoping to be ready in May 2021. Our business model. So we believe that brand, and especially direct-to-consumer brand, that will take responsible for the whole life of the product, will be able to extend the lifetime value of their consumer, their LTV. And the business model works that way. Thanks to our material and product, we'll be able to collect and take back any product at the end of the use. And then the consumers will get back a 20% discount for the next purchase. And by that, we'll have a great retention rate. Our target customer are those millennials and Z Gen who want to buy more consciously. We want to generate sales from an engaged community that we are building these days, working hard on the social channels with referrals and influencers on the topic of the zero waste life. And we already start to engage with this community. We have an e-commerce website out there. We already have almost 300 pre-orders registration, and we're estimating that the cost of acquisition for a pair of sandals will be $15. The price for a pair will be $55, and we are hoping to be profitable already after 2 years from our first sales. So regarding the competition, when you analyze the footwear industry and the companies that say that they are sustainable, you see a great thing, but unfortunately, no one is taking responsible of what's happened with their product in the end of the use, and this is exactly where we are getting in. Our strategy in the next 2 years is to develop more products, more materials, and establish a strong brand that in 2 years we will be open our solution to any fashion company in the world to join for a circular collection. Today, we finished with the wearable prototypes. We are manufacturing our pilot collection that needs to be ready in May 21. We're currently in our pre-seed. This is our team that combine experts from the different fields of plastic engineering, material science, fashion, and e-commerce. And we are working really hard that we will be able to keep walking on this earth without leaving any footprint. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. So if you can maybe explain what's your funding strategy?
Sorry?
The funding strategy? Because
Yeah. No problem. So we already started our pre-seed. We get the Israeli Authority grant for innovation together with a ZEP fund and another angel. And so these days we have almost $200,000. And we are aiming to raise 800,000 until the summer.
David, I had a question. How do you protect the product? They developed this unique product. Is it patented? Is it?
Yeah, so we started to write.
Is it a trade secret?
No, so we are filing.
We went to the class and we talked about it, but what did you do?
So we started to filing a patent with Perel Cohen Tzedek, and the IP will be on the composition itself. It's enough strong as a composition itself without related to the fashion combination.
Thank you, David. So I think we are ready to give it up to Ben from Stay Labs.
Can you hear me, see me on the screen? Okay.
Yes.
So hi, my name is Ben. I'm father to Joy. She's 14 years old and additional 3 kids, human kids, and I'm honored to present Stay Labs today. Now, with a raise of hand, how many pet parents or dog owners there's in the crowd? You can raise your hand and I can see, okay, at least 1. Okay, so I have at least 2 entities. So you already know that dogs are what we feed them eventually, and it's probably the biggest expense you'll ever have on them. We're Stay Labs, and we're building the next generation of dog nutrition. We offer fresh food subscription service for your dog, powered by ongoing biofeedback, data science, and personal relationship with dog parents. We want to provide our dogs with better quality of life and help them have a long-lasting relationship with their humans. Now, with more than 90 million dogs, the US is probably the biggest market, and maybe because American dogs are people too, 60% of dog owners are willing to pay more for customized premium products, and 50% are giving their dog vitamins and supplements daily. Now, millennials are the biggest group of pet parents, and they really care about their dog and willing to spend more. And they're also looking for great brands that they believe can help their dog. Now, when choosing the right food for your dog, pet parents, and I guess some of you can relate, are overwhelmed with countless food options, and they look for an objective advice and end up with using trial and error. They also know that what the right food for today, it's not necessarily the right food tomorrow. So they seek for nutritional guidance. And furthermore, they have no clue how the food really affects their dog, and nor do the pet food manufacturers. Now, those manufacturers and companies like Mars, Petcare, and Nestle Purina dominate this $97 billion market. And the fastest growing segment with capital investment of more than $100 million only in 2020 is the fresh food market, where instead of cooking to their dogs, pet parents receive frozen fresh food delivered monthly to their doorstep, paying hundreds of dollars a month. Now, all of those new companies are lacking any real significant differentiation between them. At the end of the day, it's just like dry food, and it becomes a brand game. Now, we are the first to combine fresh food subscription for dogs with ongoing biofeedback, data science, and personal relationship with dog parents. We aim to empower dog parents to make conscious decisions when it comes to their dog's nutrition. So what are we talking about? We're talking about a monthly delivery of fresh food with seasonal microbiome home test kits and continuous guidance from our nutrition and well-being experts. Now, while all the other players in the market offer a 50% discount on the first order of human-grade food and maybe mentioning it's formulated by a vet, we, on the other hand, not just offering our science-defined premium food, we also offer free microbiome test kits every 3 months to track the dog's gut health. And we're using our dedicated app to provide ongoing experts consultation, addressing the ongoing needs of the dog and the pet parents themselves. And the best part, we're managing to keep it at the same competitive prices. Now, exactly just like us humans, the microbiome, the genetics, the behavior, the environment makes each dog unique. The dog's gut microbiome helps them to digest the food, help the immune system, protects them, and provide vitamins, and even works directly with the brain. So we collect stool and reports from the pet parents. We monitor and analyze the microbe as the dog evolves, and we cater variety of ingredients to the dog's diet, so we have maintain a healthy gut and make sure that the inside is happy as the outside. And we call this process nutritional phenotypic clustering, or in short, NPC. Now, the business is not just we estimate a lifetime value of more than $1,000 per customer. This is the benchmark in the industry, and the profit data hedge model. We're talking about that our business model is organically maintaining a high customer loyalty and creates new revenue stream later on, such as supplements, vitamins, and even pet insurance. Importantly, our data platform will create an IP powerhouse with countless opportunities of development of know-how, specialized recipes, microbiome discoveries, and unique algorithms. And this is us. Okay, the company was founded by Adi, Liran, and myself. Adi and I are graduates, and we have alongside us amazing advisors and discovery team that were working together since early 2019, experts in the fields of personalized nutrition, computational health, brand, and operations. To date, we've gathered a lot of data and user feedback and generate a lot of proprietary assets. We worked with more than 50 dogs, with almost 50 dogs in our proof of concept, MVP, and a pilot with the IDF. And we were really surprised and delighted to see results indicating real significant signals in our data platform prototype. In addition, we've completed the development of our first recipes and in the middle of our pre-launch campaign in the US. Our goal now is to continue building our US community, and we already have pet parents signing up to join our subscription service pilot. We can see we're starting to build inventory towards those 100 founding pet parents, and we'll continue the development of our app and data platform in the back. Now, why now? First of all, microbiome research is booming and DNA sequencing are just getting lower and lower, and dogs are just a great model to advance nutrition science. Now, more than ever before, pet parents are willing to share data and they're expecting to get high premium products in return. And COVID-19 actually expanded the market because record time of adoptions. We're now looking for new partners to help us penetrate the US market. We raised pre-seed of $750,000 to date, and now we're starting in next month our seed round of $4 to $6 million to continue our work, and looking actively for a COO in New York. Just want to wish you all to stay happy, stay healthy, and just stay in touch. If you want to dive deeper, we can dive deeper on the business model, preliminary go-to-market channels, the discovery platform, or the specific seed round terms. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I would like to ask you, how did you address that there is a real need for your solution?
Okay, so first of all, in Israel, when we published for the first time, inviting pet parents to participate in a 3-month program where we provide fresh food, microbiome tests, DNA test, we had more than 180 people registered, and we had actually to screen them, and we picked 15. Later on, we published an MVP invitation for a paid program where you pay $100, $120 a month in Israel, in Tel Aviv, to get all of this service. And we had, again, 120 people registering to the service. So we established here in Israel, and now we're already establishing in the US. We have pre-launch campaign running now, and just started like a couple of hours ago, and people already registering to our pre-launch, to our pilot in the US.
That's great, thank you.
Ben,
Okay.
what's your funding status? What are you looking for?
Okay, so
What have you done? What have you raised to date? What are you looking to raise, and so on?
So we have raised a pre-seed of $750,000 from the Zell Fund, Neil Kalkstein, and other angel investors and self-funded. We're now starting our seed round, looking between $4 to $6 million to complete to $4 to $6 million from US and Israeli VCs and investors.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Lastly, I want to invite Hagar from Mandigo.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to share the screen, just a second.
We're very happy to have a woman founder. It's very good.
Thanks. Here. Hold on. There you go. Do you see it?
Yes.
Do everyone see it? Okay, great. So we're letting go and we are democratizing oversized global shipping. And by that, I'm going to tell you exactly what we do. By that, I mean, when we look at the logistics for B2C e-commerce and the logistics for B2B e-commerce, we see this one is very advanced, the B2C e-commerce logistics. But when we look at the B2B, when we're talking pallets and when we're talking containers or large boxes, this is where it stayed somewhere in the 80s, very old-fashioned industry. You would have to wait for days for a quote. You would have to coordinate between multiple parties. And this is something that is really hard to the small medium importer that really wants to bring a partial container from China to the US to sell those products on Amazon later. And this is exactly what we solve. I'm introducing you to our company, Letting Go. We think that the experience in the B2C logistics, like when you buy headphones on Amazon, should be really similar to the experience where you buy 20,000 units in one country and bring it to another. You would have just to buy it as you would buy an iPhone protective case and wait for it at your warehouse in the destination country. This is how it should be. And before I start telling you a bit how we do it, I want to tell you that we just recently launched our SaaS, and just in 10 weeks, we've generated more than $35K in revenues. We have more than 2,300 signups and more than 60 shipment bookings. When I talk about shipment booking, it could be multiple products or multiple boxes or pallets. So just so you'll know. Okay, so how we do it. This is actually a cloud software. And we've been able, through this software, which is really easy to use, we've been able to lower rates in 50%. I'll soon explain why. But this is also a very easy software to use. I mean, each one of you can now start importing quite easily, either from China to the US or China to Israel or the other countries that we support. And another very special thing about us is that there are no hidden costs. I mean, when we present the rate, this is a fully landed rate, the final one, including the taxes and the duties in the destination country. So basically, there will be no surprises when the goods arrive to the destination country. Regarding the optimization that we do, this is what allows us to actually reduce costs significantly. This is the optimization inside the container. Today, consolidations are being made in the world of ocean freight, but very manually on Excel sheets. But we are using technology, and basically for us to consolidate 5 customers would be just as easy for us to consolidate 2,000 customers on one container. So this is why the buyers actually pay for their portion in the container, their real portion. So this is how we cut rates according to the alternatives. And we also optimize the routes. Let's say you want to ship a container from Shenzhen to Dallas. Would you go through Houston, or maybe you would go to Long Beach and then take the train? This is not straightforward. I mean, it's not always the shortest route. So this is also an optimization that we do. And this is how it will really present in the software. You will see the fully landed rate here. You see a very special thing, for us in the technology. This is something unique that we do, unlike other competitors. So when we ask for the details of the products, we also ask what is the category. So you see, this is a longer category, like furniture, living room, made of wood. And according to that, we know what is the classification in the destination country, and accordingly, what are the applied taxes in this country. And when we present the rate, this is the final one. I'm sorry for the bad animation here. I was not prepared for that, obviously. So the market that we're stepping in is the B2B e-commerce market, which is an emerging market. It's a $12 trillion and expected to grow. B2B the managers that are actually doing the B2B businesses that are buying the goods today are millennials, and they do not fax. They do not like to wait. They want exactly the SaaS experience that we see in other places. So this is what we give them. We start somewhere. So we are going as the first initial go-to-market. We go to the small, medium importers in the US, specifically those who are selling on marketplaces similarly to Amazon. This is alone just a $35 billion market. And of course, there are all the imports, exports of consumer goods that are big markets that we are stepping into. So this is about the market. Just another go-to-market strategy that we've been working on. This is a cooperation with a corporate, Alibaba.com. We're going to power all the solution of the fully landed shipping rate for partial containers from China to US through the Alibaba platform. Alibaba.com, this is the largest B2B e-commerce platform in the world. So just from the launch just a few weeks ago, we see weekly growth in signups, quotes, and bookings. Just a bit about our company. The company was founded 2.5 years ago, almost 3 even. Ever since we raised $2 million, $1 million in equity round, the rest are in safes with no cap. We are now entering the phase of raising the next round. And this next round is going to support the penetration to the US market. It's now working, but we need more people to know us, more importers to use us. And this is a strategy right now. We are a team of 2. There is Guy, who is the co-founder, the CTO, a mathematician, also a computer science, hands-on programmer, and myself. I sold my first company at the age of 25. Ever since, I'm in the tech industry. I grew up there, did everything on the business side, and I'm coming from the worlds of SaaS and e-commerce. And basically, that's it. Happy to answer any question.
Thank you, Hagar. I don't see we have a question. Eyal, you have a question?
Hagar, this is, first of all, it's great, and it's very interesting. And
thank you.
And so you're in the midst of your seed round now. That's what you kind of said before.
Yes. This is a seed round of $3 million to support the penetration to the US. And
the first investor was Zim. Maybe I didn't understand the slide.
Maybe yes, I'm sorry. Yes, the lead investor of our first round is Zim. Zim is a container shipping company, holds 10% of the Chinese market in terms of container shipping. And this is a strategic investor of ours.
And the pricing, how do you price it? Is it you take a commission from the buyer, from the seller? How does that work?
Basically, yes. So according to the volume, the product is actually taken from, or the shipment is taken in the container. So this is how we charge, and also a percentage from the value of the product. And this is, by the way, we're totally aiming to be a SaaS model later on. When we have more traction, we want to analyze more how people use our features. But there's going to be also a recurring fee for the usage of Letting Go.
And you said you're a team of 2. What's the next role?
we are not a team of two. We are just two co-founders, but we are a team of 6. We have 4 in-house computer engineers, software engineers, I'm sorry. And we are all here in Israel.
And then we have a question from the crowd.
Yeah, Ram is asking, how is it to work with companies that already use FedEx and shipping companies? We're buying from many companies and sell to many, not clear how we can use you.
First of all, I see I have a potential customer here. Yeah, so FedEx, we're actually offering much lower rates from FedEx, so you should try us out. So we can work. We are not the logistics. We are not doing the logistics ourselves. We have agreements with logistics vendors around the world. So we can basically also have you work with your own rates and use our software. What all you really need to do is just to sign up. Really, if you want to use our vendors and our rates, sign up, enter the details of your shipments, and that's it. You get a rate and you can book the shipment. That easy. And if you need specific support, so just you can write me.
That's great. Vika, I see you raise your hand. I will open your microphone to ask your question. Vika?
Vika, you're on mute.
No. So maybe it was a mistake.
Okay. So last question I got from my end is, how do you figure out what is the taxes and what is the customs and so on in so many countries?
So according to the classification, every product has a classification. Actually, it's a 10 digits classification. So the 4 are equal around the world, but the rest you need to figure out for every country. So we developed a structure of categories. So when you enter the category, you don't really need to know the HS code itself. You tell us exactly what you are shipping. If you are shipping a furniture made of wood for the living room, this is one classification, and according to that, we will know to return the exact applied taxes and duties in the destination country. Could you elaborate regarding the optimization? Yeah. Okay. So the optimization inside the container or the optimization of the routes? I'm going to answer both. Optimization inside the container, we are really consolidating the entire container. It's not like we are just sharing a container and there's a lot of free space and we're sharing it between us 5 or 3 customers. It's actually putting as many packages as we can in a container. And we do that thanks to our technology. It's also knowing exactly what is the fill rate in the container at every given time, and exactly what is the volume you are caching and how much you need to pay for it. And of course, all the paperwork that it requires. This is also why today ocean freight forwarders are not taking care of more than just maybe 5 customers per container, because it's difficult to deal with it. You need a lot of human resources just to deal with it. But we are doing it all using technology. So for us to deal with 200, 2,000, it doesn't matter, customers on one container, this is something that is really easy for us to do. So they don't need to invest in it. And in terms of the route, we simply know exactly how much it costs you to ship a container to Dallas. If you get from one port or another port, this is just an example, the Shenzhen Dallas thing, and we will recommend what is the best port of entry to the US to you as a customer, according to the price or to the ETA, what's more important to you.
Thank you, Agar. Thank you very much. Super insightful. So with that, it seems like we've reached the end of this demo day. I'm pleased to inform you that GK8 will host its next demo day on January 18th. So I welcome you all to write it down in your calendars, and I will send a formal invitation with the presenting companies and their information next week. So make sure you have time to make sure that you're on our mailing list. I want to thank you all again for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this event as much as we did. We truly believe here in GK8 that these demo days are the ultimate chance to discover and support innovative startups, as we've seen today. And I hope to see you in our next demo days. I want to thank all founders and panelists for letting us watch your pitches. It was super interesting. And I also want to thank our friends and colleagues at the IDC Herzliya and the ZEL program, and in particular, Liat, Tali, Dana, and Ofar, and of course, Dr. Ayal Shanav and our firm's marketing director, Kochavit Akunis, for putting this event together. If you have any more questions regarding our demo days, or you would like introductions, or just want to make sure you're on our mailing list, I invite you to contact me directly. You can see my email on the screen. And thank you again for joining us. Have a great evening and happy holidays.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.